everybody, it's Kate Richburg. Welcome to Beadshop Live. I still haven't turned my camera around from when Cynthia and Azalea were here last week, so I still have the window behind me. I don't know. I'm going to be doing some rearranging in here anyway, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with it. But, so you get the outside window. You can see beautiful day here. It's a little bright. The camera's not picking it up, but beautiful day here in the lovely Fresno, California. That angle is a little weird. Let me do this. That's better. How is everyone doing? Let me take a look at the comments here. Let me pull my stool over. Yes, thank you, folks. You are so kind. I finally got that mop cut off my haircut. It's actually a dress. You can see. Thanks. Hi, Katie. Katie Hacker's here in the room. Our buddy Gita is here. Gita, it's so great to see you. Gosh, everyone is here, especially my friends. Our Janice is here. Janice, as you know, for our retreat, she came to California and all she got was a lousy case of COVID. So, but Janice is back home, feeling better, doing great. I sent all of you that were at the retreat your best wishes. She's seen all of your great wishes from all of you. A couple of things I also wanted to mention. We're going to be doing peyote stitch beads today. You guys are so nice. Thank you. You know how it is when you have fresh hair, you put on like makeup, right? Like I put on some eye makeup and stuff. So, thank you for that. Janice, I'm glad you feel so loved. I feel so loved as well. Plus it's good earring haircut, right? Plus I like a little bit of an edgy cut. So it was time. Cheers to all of you. Weekend was great. I'm sorry I did not see you folks on Friday. Chris and I had a little getaway to our friend's house over in Montera on the coast near Half Moon Bay. It was fantastic. We had a great time. I actually did some beading, did some projects. We laughed, we ate. Oh, did we eat? I shucked 32 oysters. Ooh, it was great. I didn't eat all 32 myself. There were 4 of us having oysters. So I've got some announcements to make there. I also wanted to say on Friday, I'm not going to be live again because it's my bestie, Christine, who owned Beadissimo with me, who I've known since high school. We've gotten into many scrapes together. It's her birthday this weekend as well. So we turned 58 this year. So I turned 58 a couple weeks later. So I'm driving back down to San Diego. 2 concerts, man. 2 concerts we're going to. Stay tuned to my social. You'll see what they are. They're both a bit of a throwback, which is great. My mom also wanted to thank you. Since I wasn't on Friday, I couldn't wish my dear mama happy birthday on this fantastic forum, this fantastic family that we have. So great belated happy birthday wishes to my dear mama. All of you were so kind on the bead table to wish her happy birthday and on my social and her social. So it was a great birthday for her. So it was great. I'm going to hydrate. So yeah, do that and do a little, I don't know if you folks are into this whole hydration electrolyte thing. Chris and I are kind of addicted. It helps me drink more water. So I'm going to prep my drink while I tell you the rest of the news here. Janice and I are going to be on next Tuesday for a little impromptu live. Not impromptu, we're planning it. Those of you who came to the retreat, I had an announcement to make. And don't you worry, we're not going anywhere. Beadshop is fine. Everything's fine. It's a great announcement. So Janice and I are going to be sharing that with you on Tuesday. Okay, so yeah, here, JP, the hydration packet, Janice, you can get them at Costco. It's the liquid IV. Costco has the best price. This one's like, they call it a popsicle flavor. It's kind of tastes like cherry. The lemon lime flavor is great. It's all great. So JP, let me know if you can't find them. I'll send you some. Okay. So good. No, Melanie, it would be an act of God if that was the case. So no one's pregnant. No one's leaving. Everything's fine. So don't worry, but we've got some fun news to share with you. Vicki, happy birthday to you tomorrow, for sure. And it's our dear Azalea from Green Girl Studios. It's her birthday today. Azalea turns 20 years old. Remember that 20th birthday? I sure do. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, so no, you guys, don't worry. It would take a literal act of God for me. But you never know. Anyway, and yes, Pam, they are good for hangovers. Not that I have one or have ever had one, but they sure help with hydration. Okay, so that's that. We've got the not going to be here on Friday. It'll be pre-recorded on Friday, actually. There's been questions about finishing up the Peyote Stitch bracelet that I did with Cynthia's clasps that are, where did the clasps go? It was the bracelet. I think the bracelet's over on the other side of the room. It's the simple, what we call the E-clasp or C-clasp bracelet. So I'm going to be doing that on Friday. That'll be pre-recorded for you. Then Tuesday, Janice and I will be on for a brief time, and then we'll be back to normal. Also, my friends, I have for you a viewer coupon. You probably saw this. You probably saw it at the beginning, but let me put it on here. Let me get it. Make sure I put up the right one. Today, since it is Freeform Peyote Stitch Bead Day, and that's one of my favorite days. I love Freeform Peyote. We're going to delve right into it. You're going to learn everything about it. But I have a viewer exclusive coupon code. Only place you get it is right here on the broadcast. If you enter Miyuki25 at checkout, you'll save 25% on all Miyuki. So that's everything. 11s, 15s, 8s, 6s, cubes, long megatamas, right? Megatamas are Miyuki, I think. I hope, since I just said it. All of it, drops, all of it. So when you go shop, if you go to our homepage as well, I've put a listing up for this project that I'm calling Sea Urchin. So you'll see it all. But all Miyuki, you can shop right on our homepage, all Miyuki beads, tilas, all that business. It's all up there. Okay, so that's that. Let me make a little code. Let me edit this and put that up so it's up. Miyuki 25. There we go. Let me just show this. I also wanted to mention, thank you folks. You've been signing up and subscribing to our newsletter. Not only our newsletter, but our Facebook page, or our Facebook page is what I want to say. Sorry, I'm thinking about my next steps already. We want to thank you so much for doing that, subscribing. We are on a roll to hit that 100,000 subscriber mark. Thank you all so much for commenting, subscribing, sharing all of that. It really, really, really helps us. So you can find us right here on YouTube. I'm also out on my Kate Richburg YouTube today and my Kate Richburg Jewelry Educator Facebook page. Go ahead, give those a follow. Give our Pinterest. I was combing our Pinterest actually today, which has some good stuff on it. Our Instagram, we're everywhere at beadshop.com. You know, we really, really appreciate your help in getting that, keeping that algorithm up. So thank you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and let me kind of arrange things here before I put them on the camera. Let's see. Hang on. There it comes. I think I'm good. Let me add that up. Bear with me here. I think my camera is just catching up to me. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Let me go back to some comments just to see what we've got, and we will get it going. So here is, thank you, Janice, for putting those links. And Drea, we love it. I mean, Drea, see what happens, Gita? You don't show up. I call you Drea because you, Gita, and Drea are still the same person in my head. So, Gita, thank you so much for your linking over there as well. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so many bugles, all of this. And happy birthday to you, Alice. Oh my gosh. August is so great for birthdays. Okay. Let me solo this. I know. Your twin, Drea. It is true. I love it. It is true. It's so great to see you from over the miles. Let me do a little more hydration, then we'll get down to it. Sorry, I hope you couldn't hear me gulp that water, but if you did, take some hydration yourself. Because, my friends, Fresno is going to be hot again today. Oh my goodness, kind of crazy. It's been kind of, let me make sure my camera, is it, sorry, I hope it's catching up. We'll see how it looks. But yeah, August is hot for sure. We really are ready for fall here for sure. All right, so I've got some beads here in front of me. And let's take a look. First, I want to show you some of my samples. Now, you've seen these, okay? So let me get some beads out. I've got some beaded beads. I've got some other things I want to show you. Gosh, I already know this is going to go long today, but, you know, whatever. We got to do what we got to do. So here is, let me go ahead and zoom out just a little bit here. So I've got some space. There we go. I don't like things crooked, right? It kind of makes me a little seasick, I think. Okay, so these are the beads I'm going to be working with today. Now, for Freeform Peyote, you know, Emily has taught us so much about seed beads, right? And she does so many stitches. I've learned so much from her. But Peyote Stitch really is my seed bead stitch of choice. I mean, I love brick stitch, which is this one. This is that really fun earring project that we've done for you in the past, right? Super fun to do. I love the brick, but peyote is my jam. Okay, so you've seen these beads before. This is kind of, this is kind of what started this whole let's get on the Freeform Peyote Stitch bead bandwagon. I've done it for you before. I've done it on a free tip Friday. It was kind of, it might have been a little more slapdash, but today I'm really going to go over the technique so you will know everything there is to know. Okay, so let me make sure I've got all please. Yes, that looks good. Anything else out here that I want? No. Let me zoom in a bit. So, gosh, and a big hi and hello. I see that in the comments over in YouTube, we're talking about some health issues that people are having. And my friends, I am so glad that everyone is doing better. And for those of you who aren't doing so great, all good thoughts go out to you, all good beady thoughts. We'll console ourselves today with some beadwork. Okay, so here are some of my freeform pieces. And the one that I'm going to be doing for you today, it's going to be on this big bead. I think this size, let me tell you. Oh, and I just, hang on, I just spilled my coffee. Really? Really? I did not have much of it to drink either. Boo. At least it didn't spill on camera. Hang on. I was going to... Have you been dropping things lately? I will tell you what. I have been dropping things and spilling things like it's going out of style. Right? Ugh. Look, I got coffee all over my hands. Hang on a second. Keep looking at those beads. Oh, for Pete's sake. Someone text Chris, tell him I need another cup of coffee. I actually might do that because, oh, it was full too. There's one tiny little sip left. Hang on. Oh, that's super tiresome, isn't it? All right, there we go. Good thing I had some paper towels here. All right, apologies, everyone. Apologies. There we go. Okay, like I was saying back before I spilled my coffee, at least didn't go on me. It's this size bead that we're going to be working on. Let me, my mom said I'll text him. Would you, Ma? Would you text him? Poor Chris. This bead size, it's 25 millimeters. I just wanted to double check and make sure that it was, and it is. You can also do this with our smaller wood rounds. These are the 12 mil that Emily taught us how to use. She did that terrific beaded bead. I've got that one sitting right here, where she did that with the super duos. Really, really pretty. Really great. So, but I'm going to be using this large one so you can see it. There is a trick that I use, that I do, that is going to make this beaded bead pretty easy for you to make. Let me free up my needle here. I want to show you the beads themselves. I'm trying to free this needle. Give me just a second here. There we go. All right, I'm going to put that needle right there so I don't lose it. Okay, so let me zoom in. Gosh, it's still kind of coffee-y here. Oh, well, that's all right. What are you going to do, right? Let me get in. Oh, Angelin, I just drink my coffee black in a tiny cup, so it's pretty easy to refill it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So here are some of the beads close up, and I want to show you, this is an old one that I did that has some like vintage, these are old vintage check seed beads like this. There's some pearls, some freshwater pearls in here. See, there's a larger freshwater pearl. There's some gemstones. So whatever and however the beads that you want to use, you can incorporate them. Okay. So here is another one where I did a stitch around and then I stitched some texture on the top like this. Okay. This one, you can see this one is striped like this. This one is kind of a fun one to do. And then I put a little bit of texture on the top of that one. Okay. Then, what else do I have? I had some of these long ones. You might have something like this in your stash. This is just a long wood bead like this. You can see I've got some little silver beads in here. So whatever it is, whatever floats your boat with these guys. I also have this one where I did some texturing down the sides. Okay, so you can, and this is a smaller one here like this. So you can use any size beads, any types of beads you want. And then you can go ahead and string them up. I had mine, let me zoom back, zoom it out. That stripe does look a little bit like a sweater. Melanie, that's funny. It does. I have some turquoise in my stash that I strung these up with, like this. And I wanted to show you, I have some turquoise coming up that I think you folks might like. Those of you who were at the retreat got a little preview of it. But I'm going to put these up, and if you want them up sooner rather than later, I'll do it. Let me get this out of the way here. Let me put this to the side. Let me just pick some that I've made. This one, let me cull a few out here to use. Maybe that big one. And maybe that one. Okay. Let me get rid of these. There we go. And we've gotten, when Janice was here in California before she got sick, she did some shopping for us. You saw some of that in the studio drop that I just dropped. We also got these really great, Janice found these. They are delicious. They're big. There's some are smaller, some are bigger. Those of you who went to the retreat got a first look, and you actually bought about half of what I had. This one is about 1.25 inches across. I've got some that are really large and really small. But I thought that these, see, that one's even bigger like that. I thought these would make really great companions to these beads. The way I'm selling them is, and you'll see them, I'm going to weigh them out. We're selling these by the gram. So what I'll do is I'll make like a small collection. I'll weigh them. Yeah, we'll have them up. Yes, Dawn, I will probably go ahead and post them sometime next week. Okay. After Labor Day, we'll do that. Okay. It'll give you folks time to stitch as well, but they're really fun. Some, as I say, are larger, some are smaller. All you really need in these big ones is one. If you're looking currently what we have right now in our offerings for Beadshop Studio, and these are old, these are eBay turquoise. They're from our turquoise dealer that we get some of our vintage pieces from. We have up right now some of these coral pieces, these carved coral. Can you see these? They're like all different, really. You're going to get, I'm going to try, when you order, I'm going to try and match, okay? Some of these, the hole goes this way. Some of these, the hole goes this way. Oh, and look who's coming with the fresh coffee. Look what I did, Lovey. I spilt it all. Look. Oh, I'm going to trade. Thank you. Thank you. Chris to the rescue. Cheers, everyone. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. He's got to keep me awake. I'm putting it way over here so I don't knock it over. But these, the coral that you get, I will do my best when we pull them, when Miranda and I pull them, to get you ones that match. They're all kind of different, right? These kind of go to the side, so it could go as a slice like this. You know, you can put in the notes kind of what you like, and I'll try and honor your request, but they're all kind of different. We also have, I mean, look at how gorgeous that is. We also have these inside painted ones that Janice found. We had them with doggies. Look, Ma, it has Jaxie on it, right? It is, they're inside painted. They have doggies, fawns, and butterflies. We have 3 different types. So look at just like maybe one of those nice little beads there too. So it's going to be good, right? They're really, really nice. And then I also have these bauxite tubes, which I also think would look pretty killer with those. Okay, so those are some little design ideas. You'll see these. I'll post these. I've got this, and I have some silver that Janice found for us too. Old Hill Tribe silver. It's not a lot, but I'll post those together. We'll do that next week, okay, after the holiday. So you don't need to worry. Let me get rid of all of this stuff. But these, whoops, I don't want to get rid of this one. But the carved coral is on right now. Okay, so if you love this, and this is it, this, we will not see the like of this again. They do have inclusions, right? They do have inclusions like this from the coral. But that's just part of the natural beauty of this bead. And they look like, look at this one, has like, I think it has a fish carved along the side. Some of these are flat lozenge ones. So if you put in the notes that you want them to match, we'll try and match them for you. If not, we'll probably give you a mix, but just let us know. You know, we'll do our best to get you what you want, right? So let me get to, speaking of getting to what you want. Yeah, these coral beads, as Janice says, are old, old, old. We had a few in strands that were just the rondelles, but those have gone already. But I believe we still have some of these left. Let me switch up my background so we can get to the actual project. Okay, let me get there. Do this. Okay, I've got some wire on here. Let me get rid of that. And let's get, these are our bumper boards, you know, our bumper boards that we used when Cynthia was here. It was really fun to do that color mix on here. So we've got the bumper boards ready to go as well. I'm going to use this large bead here. Let's talk about the different beads I've got here. And I'm going to share right off the bat my tip for success with these beads. Okay, bear with me here just a second. I've got to get some thread. Thread-wise, I put on the list KO, that you could use KO. You can use anything. I think I said brown KO, you know, whatever. You can use KO, you can use Fireline. For this project, my friends, it does not make much of a difference. I also told you a size 12 beading needle, but whatever works. Oh, thanks for the ring. So let me show you this real quick. You know that Cynthia, at the retreat, Cynthia taught us how to do resin, UV resin, and I'm loving it so much. So I've been making them. I'm calling this my gallery series. I need some cheap and cheerful things for my studio for the holidays. So I am making some really cool. I wore one in yesterday and my hairdresser said, those are galaxy beads. So now I have to make him a ring to wear because he named them, but they're really fun. Anyway, we'll have more on resin, I promise you. And also, so you'll see them on my social, my friends. You'll see them on the social. Coupon code for all Miyukis in stock, just today only, viewer only, Miyuki 25. All right. Oh, it is a little warm. I will show you how. You know, we had so much fun with it at the retreat. And I learned so much from Cynthia. This is just like a cabochon, and I put a little ring back on here. It was really, really fun to do. Oh, and there's my friend Farana. Farana, I miss you from the retreat. Didn't we have fun? We really did. So let me show you my my trick for starting the peyote stitch beads. And of course, I had my needle. Really? Here it is. Okay, let me put it here. So it's right there. My needle's there. Tell me. Mary Ellen, that's a great tip about painting the wood beads. 100% you could. If you watch Emily's Beaded Bead project, she painted them. She used alcohol inks and they looked gorgeous. I painted mine with acrylic underneath here. I'm not going to paint these today, but you could. You certainly could. Okay, whatever you like with that. And the colorway. Thank you, Margaret. These are all on the homepage under Peyote Stitch Beads. It goes to the collection. So I'm going to cut some KO. I'm going to cut, I don't know, this is a little under, this is maybe like 1.5 yards, maybe, I think. Right here, I'm going to clip it there. I'm going to zoom in. I'll take the Miyuki, the coupon code, off for just a moment, but I'll put it back on a little bit later because it's kind of distracting me. But that coupon is good until tonight, 8/28/2024 at midnight. So if you miss it, my friends, if you miss it, just stay tuned to more live broadcasts or to our newsletter. You will get more fun stuff in there. I still have a little knot in the eye of this needle from the last. Let me see if I can cut it off without cutting the needle apart. There we go. So let's do like Emily has told us. Let us needle the thread. So I'm going to slide that thread right up to my thumbnail and lay the eye of the needle on it. There we go. Here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the center hole of this bead. I need a little bit of a tail. And I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to tie an overhand knot like this. Or a square knot, rather. Right over left. Left over right. And tighten. I still want this this tail here because I need to weave it in eventually. Now, I'm going to pull that knot to kind of the inside edge right there. And I'm going to pass my needle through. And I'm going to make these kind of ribs along my bead. Because Freeform Peyote, you can't go wrong. Even if you make a mistake, make it look like it's intentional, right? And you're going to see how I do that. I am all over the map. And maybe that's why it appeals to me so much, because I, you know, my mind is always working 100 miles a minute. So sometimes it may be said that I have a little trouble focusing. Could be, as Janice likes to say, herding kittens with Kate Richburg. But that's just how it is. Just means my mind's creative. Okay, so here we go. Here's this tail. Here I've come through and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ribs around. Whatever, that just seems right to me. Okay, so now I'm going to tie this. I'm going to tie again that square knot kind of up at the top right here, just so it's tight. Tie it again like that. Maybe I'll tie it one more time on top so it's nice and tight. Then I'm going to spread these little ribs out around the bead. Hopefully I didn't make them too tight so I can get them around. but these act as little anchor points for my beading. These two want to stay together, but I'll move them. Let me see if I have. Let me see. I might have tied this just a hair too tight, but well, it'll widen out when I stitch. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so can you see how I've got the little ribs around here? Now, the way that I do the peyote is I start at the equator of the bead and I work my way up to one of the poles and down to the other pole. Okay? So what I do, so remember, let me remind you here, that peyote stitch, the way it looks, and I'm going to get a bead here too so you can see it. Which bead do I want? I want this bead. Hang on. Here it is. This is a good, you can really see the beads on this. Hang on. So see here, I started here actually somewhere around the equator of the bead. Where's the hole? Probably somewhere around here, right? And then I started working my way up and working my way down. Okay. So I know it might be a little confusing, but just stick with me. Just I promise it will all become clear, even though waters might be murky. You can see here I've also used some 2-hole beads here, right? So remember, your first row of peyote stitch, you're actually putting on the first 2 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is even peyote. 6, right? So what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to string beads on till they fit around the center equator of this bead. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this needle up kind of to the center or the equator of the bead. I like that term. I'm going to take this piece out like that to not mix it up. And I'm just going to stitch it around under one of those ribs to kind of keep it in place. Okay. Now I'm going to guesstimate right here about how many beads I need. And what I like to do with these, and I know it's going to strike some anxiety in some of you, in the hearts of some of you, but this is how I like to do it. I know. Look, I'm making a pile, but I'll be honest. This is kind of what I want my bead to look like, right? So I just find it works for me. If you want to keep your beads in separate dishes, more power to you. Whatever you want, right? And let me tell you what I've got here. I have, I need my 15s. What color 15s did I say I was going to use? Because I don't have them here. Matte metallic bronze. Let me see if I can find them. Well, I'll start and then I'll get the 15s in a minute. Because these are, maybe these are the, no, those are, hang on. Matte metallic bronze. Oh, and matte metallic khaki in the 15s is what I had. And then I had some little 4 millimeters. Take a look at that. You can take a screenshot. I think they're sitting over there. Bear with me here just a second while I grab them because I want them all. Okay. And there's that. That's a good screenshot for you. Okay. Screenshot time. Okay. Let me just go grab those. And do remember, all of this after the broadcast will be time-stamped. So you can skip next time all this chitty chat and get right to, this is what I want, and get right to the project. But we had a lot of chitty chatting to do, right? Here's my 15s. Let me move this over. I don't like having this big table to work on. This is the matte metallic khaki iris. So I called this bead sea urchin because it kind of has a sea urchin-y kind of feel to them, I think, right? They look a little bit like sea creatures. Here's the 15s. See the size of the 15s in comparison, right? I also have some 4mm here, 4mm fire polish. This is a color that honestly I don't think we can get anymore, but for the project I put in that umber color. This color's a little different, but the umber will look great as well. Or use something that you have in your stash, right? Okay. So, oh, my friends, thank you for being so kind about all of my chatting. Let me zoom in a little bit more and let's get back to getting these beads around the equator. The seed beads and stuff around the equator of the bead. There we go. That's a good screenshot too. Okay. So, I'm going to pick up enough beads to kind of fill up that space right there. Okay. And I want them to be fairly regular. So I'm going to stick to 8/0 and 11s. Maybe I'll stick to on these 8/0, just between these ribs. How many am I putting on? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Let me put on 10 and see. Okay. And I'll go under the next rib. And see how that little rib helps my bead stay in the center. So I'm going to go around the rib like this. To tighten it and keep it where it needs to be. Okay. It's always a little fiddly, but don't stress, okay? Because we'll come in and tighten it later. Now I need to go between these two ribs. Let me use little shadows for this. And it doesn't have to be all the same bead, to be honest, but I think it'll be easier for you to understand it if I do these in sections like that. Come on, stay on my needle, for corn's sakes. Come over here. There we go. All right. So I have made this a little bit longer than this rib. So I can either move the rib out a little bit to make it match that length, which is what I think I'll do, so I don't have to take any beads off. So see, there it is. Put my finger on it. Go underneath. You could put more ribs on if you like, but see how that's getting stable already, and it doesn't even really need to be straight. All right, so let's go to this next one. Let me do 11s. My 11s are right here. And you know, if you've had, let's say that you've had a bead mix that has fallen on the floor, right? Or something got mixed. That is a perfect use for a mix. Here's some 11s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 14. And I'm not really culling. You know how Emily, when she does regular peyote stitch, she kind of culls the beads to make sure that they all kind of sit, you know, they're all evenly spaced and stuff. Like there's one right here that's super skinny. It's kind of hard to see. So I'm not going to worry about it. And Jane, not at all. The space between the ribs is not a factor, which is why I wasn't really worried. Like, see, like I've got like 3 of these ribs over here. I might just bring all of these together and use them as one, right? So it doesn't really matter at all. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. The ribs are just to help you place that equator strip of beads. Okay. And it doesn't, even though technically we're doing even count peyote, this is freeform. So it actually doesn't really matter how many beads you put on. It could be an even number or an odd number because, again, this is freeform. Let's put these on. These are 8s. Emily, I knew you'd be watching. Emily's like, nope, you got to call the teeny tiny ones and the extra big ones. Well, with freeform, we're going to be free. I'm going to go under all 3 of these ribs because I don't need as many as I thought. Emily, I hope you had a great Saturday market. I was seeing the beautiful necklaces you were putting up. You know you can find Emily in Old Town Sacramento. Not Old Town, it's not the Old Town Market, it's the regular, well, it's the Sacramento Farmers Market every Saturday. You can follow Emily on her socials, see all of her cool stuff. I know she's gearing up for the holidays already. So, she's got some real good stuff coming. I know, Em, you've been making really pretty rings. She's been doing some silversmithing. So it's time to, and she also does these great stamped, and it is Midtown. Thanks, Em, for that. Not Old Town, Midtown. She's really making some cool stamp stuff as well. So see here, I'm coming in here. That looks like it's about the same size. And I'm going to stitch underneath that rib. Get them all there. All right. So let's take a look at what we had. And you know, Kelly's sharing with us, and I appreciate this share. She's saying, I'm not yet creative enough to bead without a pattern and specific instructions, so this will be extremely challenging. You know, I get it, right? But with this, all you really need to do is have a good understanding of peyote stitch and then a pretty color palette, right? So just stick with me. This just might give you the courage you need to overcome that challenge. Thanks, Janice, for putting up Emily's Insta. And I always say, if you have a nice color palette on here, that color palette will translate beautifully onto what you're doing here. Cindy, I think we all need Emily to make a stamped keychain that says, we write at 10 after coffee. Right? Good one. Okay. So here are all my beads stitched in the ribs. Now I'm going to come around. I'm going to do a second layer, and I'm going to get in tight so you can see this. I'm just going to start peyote stitching. I'm not going to worry about fear. I'm just going to do it. Am I going to pick up an A-dot to start? Yeah, I probably will, right? So let's start with picking up a bead, skipping a bead. I'm going to skip that bead and go through a bead. Okay. So there, and tighten it up. There's my first peyote. Now I'm going to do another A-dot. So pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. And I'm going to stitch this all the way around the equator. Now I'm going to pick up a small shadow. Whoops. Wouldn't you know it? I'm not. Come on. There we go. If your strand starts to kind of flip up or whatever, that's okay. Sorry about that. Here's this. So we just are going to keep stitching. Let me get some more yellow beads right here in my right hand, so I stay in frame. And I'm going to scoot out just a little bit. You guys, thanks for that. Let me zoom out just a hair. Let me go up here just a little. Hopefully that will stay. All right. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through a bead. Now you can see, it's a little loose. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. And I'll show you why. Just stick with me. Let's go through this first one. Pick up a bead. I'm going to keep going with the mustard 8/0 here. 6/0 would be good too. Go through a bead. Now, I'm going to do something crazy and pick up a 4mm. Now that 4mm, when I hold it up, it looks like I need to skip 2 beads. So I'm going to skip this bead, and go through that bead. And let's see how this 4mm, look at how that 4mm just nestles. Bam. See how this is also lifting a little bit there? See that lift underneath? I've got some space. I'm going to fill that space with another 4mm. I'm going to put it right. I'm going to go through this bead right here. The thing about Freeform Peyote is that you're just really filling in holes. That's pretty much it. See how this is kind of scooting up like that? So I'm going to skip all of those beads. I'm actually going to go through 2 of these 11s. All right, let's take a look at that section that I did. So see, I've got those shadows up at the top, and I've got 3 4mm stitched in. Let's go to our next rib section. I'm going to go back to the 11s. Let me dump out 11s over here by my right hand. So I've got them. So pretty much immediately, since this bead is round, after we do this center section, we're going to start reducing. Okay, maybe I'll do this with a 2-drop, right? Because I went through 2. I'm going to skip 2. And I'm going to go through 2 here. You don't want to make this line at the equator when you do your first beads. You don't want them to be too tight because you won't be able to get your needle underneath and in those beads. Skipping those 2. Go through that one skinny one that I know is galling Emily to the high heavens, and put it through. Pull that tight. Let me so now I have 3 beads left. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to put on 2 of these seed beads and go through that yellow, and that's going to help me tighten it up. Okay, we carry both, and so see what I've got here? See, that's what that looks. Emily, she's like, no. I'm going to add 111 and pull this in just a little bit. Remember how Emily was saying that the natural progression, if you go down a bead size, it's going to automatically start to pull your work in. So I'm going to do that. The top row is 8/0, but I am dropping in an 11. Okay, and that's going to help me tighten everything up. See that there? That's that section. Okay. Jane, this could be done with a smaller bead, but I will be honest. I think that your first one, it might be easier, but you definitely could, especially if you are using smaller beads for your mix. But I feel like this large bead is a little bit easier to hang on to. But you do you, my friend, right? So now I'm going to reverse this out. I'm going to skip 2 and put on 1 8/0. I'm going to do that here. Okay. And it'll also kind of tighten this up. You have to constantly read the room with this, right? Make sure that nothing is too tight or too loose. Let me just finish stitching this and then skip 2. If I can see it, all of a sudden my eyes are all, whoops. Go through 1. Come on. There we go. There we are. Let me do that over here. You can see my equator bead is also sliding, it's sliding down the bead a little bit. This is a little loosey-goosey. See that space in there? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through like all 3 of these beads right here to tighten it up. And let's see what we've got. Let's examine this around the bead equator. So you can see that's the one that I just did there. So here's this one. This one is all 8s with just that 1 shadow thrown in. Then I go to the shadows section and I put in the 4 millimeters. These are all 11s, and this is 8s with just the 11s pulling them in. Okay, so that's what it looks like there. Now, there's a couple of questions that I want to address. Okay, Erica's saying it's too much randomness for her pea brain to comprehend. Well, I'm sure your brain is very large, Erica, A. And B, if you like the idea of this, but maybe these shapes are too random, right? Take a look at this section right here of the bead, right? You can use all 8/0. This is all 8/0 right here, right? You can just vary up the color for now, okay? And then you can start adding, if you wanted to add 6s, you could, or go down to 11s instead of using all of these other crazy shapes. That might be a good way to kind of start to work it out, right? You also maybe might want to, what I want to say, do all that same size, so it's really, really even going down and going up. And try that maybe on a smaller bead like this, right? So however you want to get your mind around it. This one, Margaret's asking, so to clarify, you're going under the bead thread, then to tighten, you're going through the bead holes of a few. So good question, Margaret. I only went through these ribs on the first round. After that, the ribs are there in case I need them, but I probably won't. That the ribs are there so that whatever I put around the equator kind of stays at the equator, if that makes sense. If I didn't do that, this bead round would be sliding up and down, and I wouldn't let it wouldn't stay in the center, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's go and do our next round, okay? Okay, so here, I'm going to go to my next round. And you could also go back. Like, let me turn it around this way. Okay, I could start peyote stitching this way, but maybe I'll keep going through here. And you could go through as a single drop, as a 2 drop, whatever fits, right? So here, this is where I finished up here. This is the bead that's sticking out here. So my needle naturally wants to go through it. Okay. Now I look at the size, what I have here to fill up. Let me put in, let me do this. An 11, this rondelle, an 11, and go through that hole, right? And look at how it just kind of fit there. Pull it tight. Now I'm going to go to this next one. I want it to come in a little bit tighter, and I've got a shadow in there. So I'm going to use 2 of the little shadows and go through that one. And you kind of have to do it once. Right now I'm just going to do the 8/0 to kind of get everything back to normal here. You kind of have to do it once to kind of feel what it's like. Okay, so now here's kind of a challenge. See how this 4mm is kind of waving up in the wind right here? I've come out of this 8/0. Maybe I'll put a tiny 11. And I'll go through that 4 and see how that tightens everything up. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do another 11, go through the 4. Another 11, go through the 4mm. Now see how that's pulled that in? Okay. So let's see what we've done. We've done this guy here, we put on kind of a hematite or a bronzite, rondelle, some shadows, kind of regulated it with some of those 8/0. Those 4s were kind of hanging out in the wind, so I got the 11s in there. And now I'm at this 11/0 section right here, which I'm just going to continue to do some 2-drop. Because I like how that looks. Okay, so 1 and 2. And really only pay attention, don't think too far ahead. This might help you with planning as well. Just pay attention to the section that's in between the ribs. Okay, there we go. And now this one. All right. Now I've come to this right here. I don't need a lot of space filled up, so I'm going to get an 11. Now I think I'm going to use something that I haven't used yet. I'm going to use a Miyuki drop. Let's see what that looks like. The Miyuki drop kind of comes to a point. Can you see that? So it pulls everything in, kind of. And that's exactly right, Katie Kate. Each of the little section is like a tiny mosaic. You're just making these sit so they fit nicely. Let me finish this section and then we'll figure out what we're going to do next. Dawn, I do have these copper saucers. They're the copper saucers that we carry. I think what I'll do, it would be nice to lay one flat. So let's see if I can do that. Let me make sure I'm in here. Okay. And I like the idea of laying that disc flat. So see, there are the drops. Can you see those there? So let me go here. I'm just going to equalize this with some 8/0. When things feel like they're a little out of whack or a little out of kilter, come back to your 8/0 beads and stitch a little bit, right? That will kind of return everything to quote unquote normal. Does that make sense? See, there's a pretty big space right here. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to skip one, go through those two, and see where that lays. That's good. So see, I've got this kind of weird little spot here. I've got to get from here all the way through this bead. That's where these 15s all in a row will come in handy. Maybe you need one more. I'm going to measure it right there. That looks like it's about right. And I'm just going to send my needle. See where the thread is going? It's going from right there to right there. And what that little section of 15s is going to give me, kind of hard for you to see it. Hang on. It's going to give me like a little pathway. Okay, I'll come in here and do something with that in a minute, but let's just keep moving. I want to add, I'm going to put in another one of these discs, and I flanked the disc or the rondelle with some 11/0. So that's going to sit right there, and I'm going to go through those two shadow beads. So see how those are kind of sitting as a mosaic, right? I'm going to keep coming through. I'm going to slide that up. There we go. If your equator is sliding down, slide it back up. I might take a stitch under this rib too if your equator isn't staying where you want it to. Let me just do some 8/0 stitching, regular peyote, 8/0 through this bead. And I'm going to go under this rib just to stabilize it because it was sliding down a little bit. There we go. This seems like a great place for that saucer. So I'm on my next go round, I think I'll try and do that saucer trick, but let's do this. I want to kind of highlight these 4/0 around here. Okay, so I did some 4 millimeters. I did some 11s there. So watch what I do. I'm going to put on 4 beads. Oh, I actually want to go through. I want to go through this 11/0 right there. Now we're going to do something that I call kind of like the arch. I did one earlier with the 15s, but it'll be a little bit easier for you to see. I put on 4 11/0. They're going to sit around that 4 mil. See that there? And then I went through that 11/0 that was in between these two 4 millimeters. I'm going to repeat it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeating patterns, I think, are really pleasing to the eye in these beads, like a little section that repeats. So see, here's that section here. Tighten it up. I'll put 4 more beads on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to go through these 2 beads right there. Bam. Okay. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks. Right? And I'm keeping that tension. See? Keeping that tension. I'm going to come in here. I like the way also this 11/0 looks, but I've got kind of a big space. So let me just, with that 2 drop, I'll go through 2, but I'll put a little shadow on. Sorry, some of these big turquoise are trying to escape. There we go. I go through 2. See? There we go. And now a last one. It's fairly easy to deal with if you only really think about creating these little scenes, these little mosaics in between the ribs. Okay, so now here are the drops. I'm going to do a whole bunch of drops here. I'm going to do a drop, put on a drop, go through this drop. Okay, put on a drop. The bead I'm skipping is the 11/0 that's underneath here, and go through a drop. Is that right? No, not that drop. This drop. Put on a drop, skip that 11/0, go through this drop. Now this is going to give me, kind of hard to see, but it gives you kind of a little sticky outy. It's not really the right word, but it gives you kind of a little textured section. So I think I might go in and I might lay in one more section of drops there. I'm going to put this down. Oh, Andy, I'm glad you like it. Thank you so much. And yeah, Kathleen, flat peyote is exactly the same. You're just doing it flat, right? Let me put up the coupon code. We've got Miyuki's on sale all day today. It's just a viewer exclusive coupon code, right? I've got to stand up and stretch for a second, folks. So let me do that. We've got the viewer exclusive coupon code for you. Tonight, 8/28/24, tonight at midnight Pacific time. Use that until midnight Pacific time. Use that coupon code Miyuki25. It'll knock 25% off all Miyukis in stock. Bugles, cubes, rocales, all of it. All Miyuki all the time. Still hydrating. Okay, let's get back to it. Hide that. Get that. Let me see. Sharon, hashtag same. I love just having these beaded beads out just to look at them. Once you start them, you're just going to want to keep making them. They go together pretty fast, really. You can see I'm already in pretty good shape here. Let me continue. I'm going to continue. This tail, is this tail bugging you? It's bugging me. I need to weave it in. What am I going to do? Let me just, if it bothers you, weave it in. But I need here we go. You know how that is sometimes? You're just like, ugh, I cannot take that thread one more second. That's how I felt about my hair. That's why I had to get my hair cut. This is a 10/0, a size 10. Not a 10/0, it's a size 10 beading needle. I am going to needle the thread, put it underneath. I'm going to bring it up this rib. I'm going to go through that 8/0, through these 8/0s here. This is also how you'd add thread, right? You'd weave your old thread or your new thread in, and then we'd weave our old thread out. Do that here. After using that size 12, this size 10 beading needle feels giant. But I like 12 for this project because sometimes you're going through smaller holes. So my thread is caught around that bead. Come on. I see you. There we go. And now I'll come back down. Something funny here too. Ah, I think my stitching, there we go. There we go. I got it. Now I'm going to turn the corner. I'm going to go back. Sorry, so out of frame. Sorry. Yeah, I was kind of growing my hair out a little bit until I was like, no, I can't. I can't deal. Maybe I'll try it again, but it's just too hot. I needed sassy hair. So there we are. Right back here. And clip. Okay. Now, that's done. All right. So here, I'm going to come back. Where did I end? Get rid of that. I ended here. I'm going to step down here. And these 8/0 are looking good. So let me just do these 8s. You might want a couple of colors of 8s. I just have one. Sometimes having 2 colors of 8/0 gives you some good variety. Now here is where we're getting to a little bit of a spot, a little space there. And there's some 15s there as well. So maybe I'll just do an 8. Maybe an 8 will fit okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this line of 4 of the 15s here. Sorry about that, folks. I don't mean to be out of shot. There we go. So see, that's tightened everything up. I think I need one more little rondelle here. There's Miranda. Yay. Miranda's here, everybody. Tighten that up. And I'm going to do one more right there. Like so. And I'm going to go through that 8/0 right there. Okay. Like this. Okay. And tighten it down. All right. So see how that went? See how that tightened everything up there? We're good. So I promised that I would do that kind of little flat saucer. So I'm going to start going a little more at Kate speed with this. How you doing?
Good.
Everybody on the broadcast says hello.
Hello.
There she is.
Bead people.
That's right. Our international audience. So let's keep going here. This, and see, again, I'm a little loose here, so I want to come in. I want to put one there. And see, that kind of regulates everything like that, right? So Margaret is saying, hi, Miranda, got my studio order super fast.
Woohoo!
Thank you for being part of the team.
Happy to be here.
Everybody's saying hello. You're doing a great job. Lots of Miranda love.
Thank you.
Lots of Miranda love in here.
You like me.
You really like me.
Like me.
We sure do. So I've got kind of this little flat area here. So I'm going to come back on it. I'm going to put my needle here. The request was to put one of those little saucer beads flat. Like this. Like this. Saucer. A stopper bead. I'll use an 11/0 for that, maybe. Like that, right? Maybe that 11 is a little too small. Let me go back through. Maybe I want that saucer. I know I want that. Maybe I want a drop as the stopper. And then I'll go back through that bead right there. Cubes work great in this. Square beads work great, honestly. Come on. Tighten up there. So now we've got kind of this cool little thing happening there with that drop. And then what I'll do is, if there's one, I think it needs two maybe. And I'm also going to make a bridge. I've got these, maybe I'll do it with 15s. And Ellen, great question. I use the ribs around the bead only if I need them to secure. Otherwise, I'll ignore them. But if things are kind of sliding down or whatever, I might use them. Let me tighten this up. This is a little loose. And then I'm going to put on, see what's happening there? Those little 15s are branching. Yeah, it does kind of look like a light bulb. A little bit. A little Edison, Eureka, right? And I'm going to come down and I'll go through this. Like that. And then I'm going to put another 11/0 right there, bridge it right there. Come through here. I'm going to put on a few more 8/0 here. And then I'll put on another one of those. What do I want to go through? Maybe here. Go back around with some 11s. I'll go through there. So see, this is me going back and forth in one spot. See, this doesn't really even need a bead there. It needs to be tightened up. So I'm not even going to put a bead on. I could put a small bead, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to tighten that. And then I'll come here. I'm going to put an 8/0 there. This is really starting to kind of look a little crazy, but it doesn't matter, right? See, there we go. Tightened right there. Okay. So now I'm going to put on another one of these little copper flat saucer beads. I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to get my saucer bead. I think I'll do the stopper this time, one of the shadows, and go through here. Did I do that right? I didn't. I have to go back through. Sorry, I have to go back through the disc, then through here. It's like I say, I like repeating patterns when you do freeform. This could be another one right here. I'll go back down the disc and just choose a bead to send it through. So yeah, this is an addition of beads in multiple directions. Exactly. And this really does kind of have a sea urchin-y kind of feel. So see, there's that. Now I'm going to keep going. I've kind of set myself up to keep going here. So let me get an 11. I'm going to go through those two. I'm going to get a shadow and go through these. I'm going to start going a little faster now, a little faster. Just fit the beads into the spaces. And you also want to start reducing, see, because I'm going towards the bottom now of this, right? So things need to start tapering. I'm going to go all the way from there to here. Let's see if that shadow, yep, see that shadow fits in. I'm going to do that here. And here. and here. Okay, I've got that. Okay, let me show you. There's that there. So now I'm here. Sorry if I keep going out of frame, you guys. I'll try and do better. Here's more drops. I'm going to do another row of drops right here. Let me take another drink of my refilled coffee. Yes, Leslie, you hear rustling. You hear.
I'm trying to be quiet.
You don't need to be quiet. You're filling orders, sister. That's Miranda.
Yeah, Pat. I'm filling your order.
Yeah. Oh, you're filling Pat's order right now.
And I'll tell you, these carved coral are the hardest things I've had to match.
Yeah. Well,
they're all so different.
They are so different, but you're doing a good job with them. I was showing everybody the coral beads a little bit earlier and telling them that we do our very best.
I might even do it a little too much.
Well, there's never anything like too hyper-focused, my friend. Yes. We are so lucky we have Miranda on our team, I'll tell you what. So here we go. See there? Look at this little kind of bulbous, cool little section right here. There we go. So now I'm just going to keep going. I like this plain. I like having a little plain area. So let's go here. So I encourage you, friends, to try this. You're going to be fine. It's not like, look at the time we spent together. I've been on here a while, but it's not like I have invested days and days of time, right? This, I think, needs another little rondelle there. So I'm going to get 2 of those, 1 faceted rondelle, and I'm going to go through that rondelle. Then I'm going to put on some more 11s. The beads will tell you, not to sound too woo-woo, but they will, right? They'll just tell you where to put them. I put on 3, I'm going to go through 3. All right, I'm going to get some more 8/aughts there and put them on. Ginny, we love that you were sharing with us. Thank you so much. You know, I like to think about this spot, the bead table that we have here, our beads that we're working on. And I want to say I've been feeling the love from you folks. Janice and I and the whole team have been feeling the love from you folks. You have been emailing us such lovely sentiments about the community, about the products, about the work that we're doing for you. And let me tell you, it does not go unappreciated. We really, we are so glad to be able to continue to do what we love. I thank you for helping us employ a great team. And we want a place that is inclusive, where all are welcomed, my friends. So thank you for those kind notes. And we get kind notes from you all the time. It's just, there was a couple that Drea forwarded to me that I was actually sitting here and crying. Not crying, bad crying, but you know, what we like to call sobbing near the seed beads with joy. So anyway, thank you folks for that. So I'm back to these little shadows right here. See, we're getting close. So essentially, my friends, all you're going to do is you're going to keep stitching. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to band it. I've got some 11/aughts there, so I'm going to band it right here on this side with more 11s. And then on the pass after that, we'll do some 8s. Okay, so let me do that here. Let me put in an 11. Let me go through that drop. put on an 11. Having a good variety of bead sizes really helps you fill up the little holes. There we go. And that goes through here. Come on, there it goes. Now, I'll put a little tiny 11 there, and I'll go through here. Now, this is where this bead is really starting to curve right here, because I'm getting, further down right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch down to an 11 and just go regular peyote. And that's going to help me tighten it up without doing anything fancy. Okay. And I feel like everything needs to be tightened up. So I think I'm just going to go through and do a row with mostly these 11s. Let's see what I get. Caught, threads caught. Come on. There we go. Yep. This project, you really have to be the boss of your beads here. See how this is kind of sticking up? So I'm going to put on, I've got to build a bridge, a little bead bridge. So I'm going to go around that. I'm going to put on 3, go through 2. There we go. And see how that pulled it down? See? And then here, I've got to get from here to here. So this, maybe a yellow, this, and this. This might be too long. Let me hold it up. I think it's all right. Let's see. That'll also give me that 11 or that 8 to stitch in on my next round. Yeah, look at that. Bam. Here we go. This one, I'm not going to put on a bead at all, and I'm just going to go through this bead that's sticking out because it's just needs to be tamed. There we go. So now, see how I'm laying the thread over like this? From here to here. So I need something to fill this in. I've got these 4 millimeters. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to get an 11, a 4, and an 11. And I think the thread wants to go through, or the needle wants to go through that one. Can you see what I did there? See how that's filling up that space? Tighten it in. So when I look at it, see how this is a little loose. I probably went a little too far going through that. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to go through this one instead. That's a lot better. There we go. And I'm still doing that 11-aught round. So let me just keep throwing these bronze 11s in here to tighten. And I could just keep going with these 11s. Perfectly acceptable. Let me just keep stitching. Just keep stitching. And where does this one? I think this thread wants to go through that one as well. Anytime there's like a bead, like a down bead, or if you've gone through a bead and there's a bead that kind of goes lower next to it, I just like to cross and go into that bead hole. There we go. Now I said I was going to do 8, so I think I've kind of completed that 11-aught round. Let me see if I can get this through that 11. Good. And pick up an 8. Go through that 11. You need good light, my friends, when you're doing this, I'll tell you what. Because it's a little, it can be a little bit of a strain on the eyes. There we go. So now I've got that nice row. This drop isn't where I want to sit. There we go. Done. So see, we don't have much to do here. Okay. So I'm going to come in and I need to bridge this in. So I think it needs an 11. I'm going to go through that 11 just there. There we go. Now, see how all around my edge I've got mostly 11-aughts. I've got some 10-aughts here. All right. So yeah, so Karen, now I'm going to start dropping beads. Perfectly timed question. Okay. So I don't really drop them. I guess I call it cinching, maybe. So watch what I do here. Okay. So here's this 11, and I'm going to go through that 11, and that'll tighten it up. Okay. Now I'm going to go through this 11 and tighten it up. Now it looks like I can do one more 11 right here. But now I get to this kind of funny place where I put all of those 11s on. Okay. So by dropping, what I kind of call dropping, I guess, is I'm going to put another like row of 11s, maybe 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. So I've kind of like dropped all of these beads out, and this one's kind of going down, so I'll pull that. So see how now that's pulled all that in. Can you see it? You can just roll it. It's all right, well, Miranda. The light stand. The what? The light stand. The light stand. Oh, all right. We can't have that because I don't have my light. I can't see.
Good lighting.
I can't see. I'm going to put that 8, and see that 8, I kind of bypass all of those, and that drops that in. Now I've got this. Let me get an 8-aught here. Let me get one 8-aught. Go through that 8 and tighten. Okay. And here, yeah, I'm just cinching it all. I'm going to do those 4 to go around that 4 mil. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my 15s are actually going to start coming into play here pretty soon. I could have used them a little bit more, but I haven't, but I will. And I'll use them more on the other side too. And I haven't used any of these long magatamas. I'll do them here. So see, that goes through. So now let me just keep going on with the 11. 11-aught here. And that's what cinches everything in. Hope I'll have enough thread for this side. I should. Oops, I don't want this to fall. Another 11. That's why maybe having a couple of colors might be kind of interesting here, but I also like this kind of bronze background with everything. Here's this. I'm going to come through this bead now, move my needle along just a little bit. I like the way these shadows, these are the two-tone shadows, the black and brass ones. We've got some more really great metal beads and glass beads coming. Janice and I have just been looking at them. This needs some 11s here to cinch. When in doubt, when it's kind of, you know, poofing up a little bit, cinch it down with a smaller bead. And this side. Okay. Right there. And little more 11. So see, this isn't quite even, okay? But that's okay. Watch. I'm just going to go. You're the boss. You are so the boss of these beads right now. That, see there? Bam. There's a little hole right there. So let me put an 11 in it. When in doubt, add a size 11 bead, right? Come on. Come on. There we go. And come on. So this is getting a little bunchy, right? So I'm going to ignore this part. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to turn around because I want to fill this in right here. Okay. So let me do that. I'm just going to pick up an 11 and I'm just going to stitch it in here backwards. Just go back across. That's going to help me fill up this space. Sorry. Like this. Oh, I'm getting short on thread. I hate that feeling. That's a little, I might have had a thread that got caught here somewhere. I think I did. Shoot, let me see. It's not too terrible, but it's bugging me a little bit. Let me see if I can get that thread without breaking it. If not, I'll just leave it, but is that thread going through a bead hole? I just can't tell. There we go. That's good. Where does this go now? Let me see if I can tighten that thread. All right, good. I'm just going to come in. See, there's that funny random hole right there. Bead cord still funny. Where's it coming out of? Sorry, folks. I just want to. There. See, there it went. See that? I knew there was something funny about that thread. I knew it when that thread walked in. Let me just pull it back here and tighten it up. All right. And let me get an 11 and put it through. Whew, okay. So I just need to get some more 11s here, tighten that up. See how this really shifted while I was doing that. Let me push this back. There we go. That's looking right. Here. These little drops, be careful when you're peyote stitching around those drops, my friends. They will catch your thread. And that's what kind of happened to me there for a second. But just bring your all and your patience and you'll be all right. So here, let me get an 11. Pull it through that one that's going down. Sorry, you guys. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get rid of that spam comment. Bear with me here just a second. Okay. I think we're good. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Once in a while, we get a spammer, and I just have to take care of it. I can bead and moderate at the same time. I know, right? See, look at, I'm so short on thread right here. But I can weave some new thread in. But you folks get the idea. I'm just going to finish this round. And I'm just going to finish this with... My mom's like, just do it now. Right? All right, Gwenda, I will. You guys want to see how to add thread anyway, right? Okay, let me stand up. Let me focus that. This is going to go long. It's just going to go long. That's just how it is. I've got to take this ring off for a second. Bear with me here. And I'm going to change out the thread. What do you reckon? While I'm doing that, I'll put up, gosh, you folks are really sticking with me. Thank you so much for that. Let me put up the coupon code right here while I hydrate and change threads over. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cut a piece of thread. We don't need a whole ton, but I don't know, a wingspan maybe, right? So what I'm going to do is I weave this thread in first, and I'll use this size 10 needle because that's what I've got here. I'm going to weave in my new thread like this. And I need to come out at this same place where my thread is going in. So I don't need to weave it in that far. I'm just going to go in here. Right. I'm going to turn the corner. Let me see. Go through here and here and here. Then I need to kind of turn the corner to zigzag back to kind of lock it in. And this one. And let me see where I need to come out of. Here it is right here. So I'm going to go through this bead next door, this bead, and this bead. So now I've come out where I need to be. I put that needle aside. I get my old needle. I've got 4 threads, 4 things happening here at the same time. I get my old needle. And I weave it back in, turning a corner. To lock it in somewhere. Do it here, maybe. And it's not really going to be seen. Just find a thread path that works for you. Okay. You can also just kind of slide it underneath some of the beadwork itself. Bring it out right here. And I'm going to cut all this thread away. I'm going to cut that tail. I'm going to cut the tail off this one. And now I just have one. Okay. Whew. All right. Brown is one of the big fall colors this season. It really is. I've been seeing a lot on the kind of fashion blogs and stuff. So it's a big one for sure. Which I like. I like brown. They're mixing brown and black, which I know makes some people crazy, but I love. I'm excited about that. So here we go. I've got my new thread. It's super long. Let's get it. Get it. Do here, go here. Put that one in. That could maybe use an 8. Right there. Now I'm just going to keep going around. I think this could also use an 8 right here. Just for fun. Yeah, this size 10 beading needle feels big in my hand. Oh, I'm missing your comments. Hang on. There we go. This would be a fun class to do, Pam. A fun local class. We'll see. We'll see what I can pull off. We keep talking about, doing the Fresno retreat. Let's see. Let's get this one. I love how you folks are talking about musubi, which is the Spam sushi, one of my favorites. Oh, I have a... Shoot. There's something here that's caught. Hang on. There we go. These little, it's these, the drops that are making my thread get caught. So we've got kind of a funny little place right here. Okay. Let me see. I know, Diane, I would love to do a class back in the peninsula. We were just driving through our old haunts this past weekend. So nice to be on the coast. Not to malign Fresno, but it is hot right now. So being in that nice, cool breeze was good. Keep moving this so that your bead comes up in the center. Let me get just a couple here. Let me do a little bit of 2-drop. 2 right there. I knew this was going to be an epic broadcast, folks, when I started, so apologies that it's so flippin' long, but I want you to see it all. There's no point in doing it unless you see how to do all of the technique. All right, there's an 11. We'll just go over. That's what we're doing. That 11-aught right there. And that 11-aught right there. Just stitch them in. There we go. Let's get that one in there. And you just keep going around. I want to switch to 15s. Maybe I'll switch to 15s now. They're so tiny, though. Let me go a few more 11s. We were talking yesterday We've got some great special guests coming. I know you folks always love to see Emily, and we've got some great projects coming up with Em. We have a really great project. We met with Danielle Wicks, our buddy Danielle Wicks, yesterday. We have some stunners coming from Danielle. We have some stunners that are coming up from Katie Hacker. And we have one more stunner coming up from Michelle, another Kumi. So we've got some great plans project-wise coming up. Danielle was working with some of the new symbols that we're carrying. She's been playing around with those. She's so creative. I really, if you folks haven't watched the broadcast she did with us, she uses her Wix box clasps and teaches us how to use them. That's going to figure prominently in the project that I'm going to post for our new September monthly mix. That's coming up, and I know a lot of you folks are finishing our monthly maker for the month of August, which is also awesome. Let's get this in. So we would just continue. I'm just going to continue to pull this in tight. Maybe start adding some 15s. Let's do it. Let's not be afraid. The 15s, I love how they look in a freeform peyote. They also, as Emily has taught us, they cinch everything in. The only thing about freeform peyote is you've got all this freeform business, so your thread catches. So just try and control that thread. All right, control it there. Done. Come on. There we go. And I also noticed the beads that I used. I'm going to go through these too. The beads that I used for the 15s and the 11s are not real high contrast, but the 8/0s are high contrast. You can get a lot of different looks by the, contrast in the colors of your beads. So your bead palette really figures pretty prominently in this, but you can get away with just about anything in here, right? So now see, I've got those little 15s in there. Let's keep going. I just want to finish this half for you. We obviously are not going to do the other half of this bead right now, but you'll get the idea. I'm really excited, my friends, to see how you work with this technique. And remember, if you are feeling a little worried about using too many shapes, just mix up your colors and get 8s, 11s, and 15s. But all this is peyote stitch, not even, not odd, it's just freeform. So see here, I've got that weird little spot right there. Oh, I also have to look at these drops are the bane of my flippin' existence. Come on. I keep winding my thread around there. You can't really see it, but oof. There we go. Let me see if I can tighten. Is that going to let me tighten it? No. So now I've got a big old loop of thread here, but let me see if I can find where it goes. A little bit of patience and a beading awl will help you through this. There we go. Come on. Does it want to pull from here? I don't want to break this thread. No. I'll show you how to fix this. If you can't walk this thread back, I'll show you what to do. Not the end of the world. But see this? That was looped around here. Okay. I could have left it looped, but it would have bugged me even more. So I'll show you what to do. I'll show you how to fix this. I'll fix this right now. I'm going to fix this right now. So I'll come in. I've got this hole to deal with first. So let me get an 8 because it's kind of big. And I'm going to go across like this. Okay. That fills up that hole. Now I think I need an 11. And the 11 is going to go through right there. Okay. Like that. Now here's my loop of thread that's right here. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to bring my needle up, grab that loop, and stitch that loop so it goes underneath my beads right there. And if I have to do it one more time, here, grab that loop, do you see what I'm working on? Do you see this? Janice is getting the popcorn. Yes, I added thread. That's how I added this long strand. So, yes, I did. You'll just have to go back and watch it. So just be careful not to do as I did. And there we go. That thread is now underneath all of this mass of beads. Okay, so let's just pick it back up. We're so close, my friends. Thank you for hanging in there. You can always rewatch these. This is like the longest episode I've done in a long time. What am I at? I'm at like 2 hours of beading this bead. God, someone put me out of put me out of my misery. No, I'm not in misery at all, but I really appreciate you folks staying with me here. Let's just go here, and I'm just going to drop those beads kind of below it and come in where I feel like this needs to be. And get another 15. As I said when we were chatting with Danielle Wicks yesterday, we were talking about, what did we do before our 15s? I cannot tell you. This one here. And we're just going to stitch now right up to the bead hole. Okay. And yeah, I'll finish this up and I will post it. Don't worry. We've got to have it for the project photo. So I will get it done. She says, hopefully, and get this out to you. But then we'll go over it all. Let me just finish this last little bit of stitching because we want to cover all of the wood. Got kind of a big hole there. So let me go back to 11s. Let me get this stuff off my table. I don't have many 11s left. I've got a few right there. There's an 11-aught. Where's my thread coming out? It's coming out there. And an 11 there to kind of close that hole. See, I've got a little bit of a hole there. All right. Put a bead in it. There. That looks about right. Is this good? That's tightened down. Good. I'm going to put one more 15 right there, like so. And I think, my friends, that will be this side. So what I like to do when I'm done with the hole right here, okay, I'm going to, see, I need like one more right here. I like to embellish, not embellish, but I like to reinforce, I guess is the word, around the hole. So, and you can also make the hole a little bit smaller if you want to, right? It doesn't have to be the size of the bead hole. But now I'm just going to stitch around, reinforcing these beads. See, there's a little bit of a hole on that side, so I'll go over there, walk my thread over. I'm in that 11. I need to go through that 15. It needs a bead like right there. I think it needs an 11. Just neaten it up. I don't know about you folks, but I'm going to need a nap after this. I'll tell you what. Here we go. One more little spot. Right there. Charlottes would work too. I have some Charlottes here. Charlottes would look great. Okay. There's that hole. So let's take a look. Let me, I think I had almost all my hydration. That's good. And I just spilled it down the front of my shirt. Perfect. Good look. You'll see it when I turn the camera. That's all right. Let me clip this down. There's just a piece that got unraveled. So let's take a look at what we have here. We've got kind of this cool bulbous part right here, and we go through. So we've done about half this bead, right? So in order to get my needle back up to where I want it to go, and see there's a little bit of a spot, an open spot right there. So I'm just going to move my needle back, weave it back through. Try not to break a bead. I'm going to go right here. And I'm just going to stitch, do a decorative right on the top right there. And I'm going to do that with an 11, 2 little shadows, and another 11. And then I'm going to bring that through that 4 millimeter right there. And see how that sits up just a little bit, gives you a little bit of texture right there. And I'll go through this bead. And I'm just going to keep moving up. I'll go through that 11. It does look like a unique acorn kind of a bead, right? Then decide which way you want to bead, right? I think I want to send my thread. That feels a little backwards. I think I want to send my thread going the other way. Make sure your thread doesn't get caught. Go through there and go through there. Now I'm ready to start the other side. And so I'm just going to repeat all that. I'm not going to do it now because you've seen me do a half and you've seen me add thread, but you just continue your peyote stitching. See, I'm going to go through all 3 of those. I'm going to give myself some 8/0 there. And just keep going, right? That, my friends, is all there is to it. It's like I can't stop, right? They're so fun. And, they'll take you an afternoon, put on a movie, something that you like to listen to and that you don't really have to watch, right? Let me let me zoom in and out here so you can see it. Miranda, will you toss me a carnelian heart or two? Someone is having a request here on those, so I'll put those here. Yes, Mary, I will. These are from Beadshop Studio. Thank you, my friend.
There's only a couple left.
There's only a couple left.
And I'm need something to do.
Here they are. Place those orders. Place those studio orders. Because Miranda and I are going to get the next studio drop ready, actually. We're going to be doing that. But those are the really cool carnelian hearts that we have. Look at how pretty those are. So that was really fun. So there you go, from the studio. So you'll find all of this under the Sea Urchin Bead. I hope you folks enjoyed this. I sure did. I really appreciate you all coming in and hanging out with me for this crazy show day we had today. It was long, but I think it was worth it. So that's it. Freeform Peyote Stitch beads, halfway done. Whew, I gotta stretch. Remember that today, the 28th of August, 2024, we have a viewer exclusive coupon code. It's just for you folks who are watching and are joining me in this broadcast live, or if you're watching the replay, which thank you. It's a long road. Watching the replay, if you watch it before midnight tonight, you grab this coupon code, Miyuki25, use it at checkout on beadshop.com. You'll save 25% on all of these Miyuki beads in stock. We do have the 25 millimeter wood beads for sure. This is going to look great. It's going to look great on just a cool leather cord, or I'll add it with these giant turquoise beads that we'll put them up next week after the Labor Day holiday. You'll see those up in Beadshop Studio. That's it. And yes, on Tuesday, we're going to be on. Janice and I are going to be on. It's just going to be a short little broadcast. We'll be on same time as normal broadcast, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. The coupon code is Miyuki25. And thank you, my friends, for all of your great comments and everything today. It really, it was. Oh, and Dawn, thanks. I know that so many of you have requested this, so I was ready. We got it together for you all today. So I'm pretty pleased with this. We will put this finished piece on the project. This is called Sea Urchin. You'll see it on the project page. You can also find everything that I used, but I'll tell you, you can really throw anything in here. So, my friends, thank you again. You can find us, of course, always on all of our socials. Hit us up at our Facebook group, The Bead Table. You can hit us up on our Instagram. Give us a like, subscribe, and hit those notification buttons always right over on YouTube. Everywhere on socials, we're at beadshop.com. And if you have questions, reach out to us at info@beadshop.com. Friday's show will be shortish and sweetish. It will be a pre-recorded broadcast because I will not be here. But we're going to finish that bracelet that I started with Cynthia, that peyote stitch with the kelp mix, and I'm going to show you how to add the clasp so you know how to finish that off. All right, my dear friends, thank you so much for joining us. We wouldn't be here without you. I'll see you next week, Tuesday for an announcement with JP, and Wednesday back at our regular time, and Friday for our pre-record. Thanks so much, all. It was an epic one today. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.